Late last night, we took the long train that took us from Oslo Central to Stockholm Central. So we woke up this morning in a whole brand new country. I don't know what I was expecting. I think probably more of the same, and it kind of is. We're still in the Nordic area, but it's different, and I can't quite put my finger on it. There's more water, for one thing. There are, I believe, 14 different islands around Stockholm, and they're connected by 57 bridges, which has given it the nickname of being the Venice of the northern area. Apart from that, I don't know, we're about to find out. But one thing I've spotted already, in Norway, when you greet, they go, hi, hi. Here, they're saying, hey, hey. So we just got to work on our how's it and see how far that gets us. Moving in for the kill, we're at the Hornstull Market. It's a Saturday, and it's beautiful. The weather is gorgeous, and the water's looking gorgeous. Now, I'm the shopper in the family, but I've been out-shopped by Ryan. So we're at the Hornstull, I think they call it market, which is right by the river. And we came upon these three gents doing their Saturday afternoon artwork, which is really rather pretty. You know how normally you would think of a subject matter like Nobel Peace Prize and winners, it could be a little bit dry to have it in a museum, but we just walked into the one in Stockholm. Now, it's not only about literature, but you feel like you've walked into something a bit different. They call it the Storytelling Museum for Nobel Peace Prize winners. And the reason is they've taken all the Nobel laureates and they've taken elements that are personal to these winners, and they've created their stories rather than just the hard facts about what made them the winners. It's very different, and really could spend hours and hours and hours here. We're inside the Nobel Peace Museum, but I find it fascinating. It's actually the section of the Nobel Prizes that is for literature every single year. But in Sweden, if you read the background, they don't call it literature. They call it storytelling, which is very Nordic. We had to do it. We had to come to IKEA, see IKEA, and have the famous Swedish meatballs.
Look at the food. Or?
Fika moment.
Fika.
It is coffee time.
Fika.
In the old square in the middle of Stockholm. This square is one of the most important squares in the whole of Stockholm. It is Stortorget, and it is the middle of the Gamlestan, which is the old kind of town part of Stockholm. It looks beautiful and peaceful, and we just had coffee here. But in fact, back in the mid-17th century, it was the scene of the most horrible bloodbath back there in the monarchy days, and people were executed right here until the gutters ran red. And that building over there behind me, the red one, they've got white pavings up there, one for every execution on that tragic day. But fortunately, back in 2026, it's just filled with tourists who are drinking coffee. And of course, the place where you come for the Nobel Prize Museum. We are in the middle of the History Museum, Historiska Museet, and we thought about doing one of the Viking experiences, which is on the island, but it tends to be a bit Disneyfied. And we thought, no, we want the real artifacts. But even in this museum, which is the main history museum, they've got everything laid out, but they've done like a three-dimensional sound of wind and cows and sheep, and really creates an atmosphere. It's magnificently well done. We're in the Viking section, just by the way.
more. There you go.
Lesson over. The latest in Geri-Antics transport systems.
Welcome to the club. And then tomorrow. Just think of it like a bicycle.
Ryan, I last rode a bicycle when I was like about 11.
Okay.
And then I pushed that down, right?
Yeah, I'm going to give you a push as well, just in case.
Shoot!
So essentially, that press is like... The Geri-Antics on the electric scooter. They're trying. A bit nervous, but they're doing okay. I'm not stopping. You good?
I don't know why I'm grinning so madly because my hands are going like this and my heart is going like this. And this thing, I can't believe it. Within 10 seconds, I was off this thing, tumble turn right into the traffic, and my hero.
She full on went like this. I just threw my scooter away and I just jumped to it.
I think I accelerated and braked at the same time as went into traffic. All I know is it wasn't a good moment in my life, but I survived.
It was a proper
and
trial
Ryan
by
rescued
fire.
me. Oh God! I'm not. Let the record show. I will not be going home to sell my car and getting one of these. That was fun. Tick, fine, but no. We've just done a 3-kilometre walk all the way along the marina, and in fact this is the Stockholm harbour. But we've done this walk in order to come to see this big attraction. For this is the Vasa Museum, and we are now on an island where the Vasa Museum, the ABBA Museum and a couple of other attractions are all housed. You don't come to Stockholm without having a look at this. It's the Vasa ship. And it's a hilarious but brilliant story of failure that turned into one of the biggest archaeological, historical attractions today. Back in 1628, this thing was created by a king, turned out to be King's Folly, where he wanted to make something so big that he frightened all the enemies. The grand day of launching this thing came, and they'd packed it wrong with cannons and designed it wrong, so it was too narrow, and it went straight out into the ocean with everybody watching and plummeted to the bottom. Shortest maiden voyage, I think, in history. And it stayed down there for 333 years. And then eventually in 1961, I think it was, they brought it up. And yeah, it's a ship and it's from that time and it's fascinating. But what really makes it fascinating is this thing became like a time capsule because everything went down with the ship and remained down there for 333 years. And here we are in 2026 and it's one of the biggest attractions of Stockholm. The exact replica of the boat as it was, in all its finery and colour. Well, I don't know how I got myself into this, but in 1663, apparently a local said he could bring up some of the cannons and salvage it. And this was his super knot protective kind of bell that took him down in the water. So he wore leather and went down in the ocean to go and bring up some of the cannons. Rather him than me, I'm already claustrophobic. He was up to his chest in cold Arctic water. Is it the right number? They're ringing.
No.
They're saying this is you. This is your moment.
No, it's about my car's extended warranty again.
This is how crazy it gets. It's our last hurrah before we leave Stockholm. I looked it up on AI Gemini and I said we want local transport. So we're on a boat. I don't know where we're going to, but it's one of the last ferries, so we're doing it. You know, I mean, how disorganized is that? But we'll do it.